Anders Breivik, Norway's mass murderer, killed 77 people in a bombing and shooting rampage on the 22nd of July in 2011. His mental health has been a subject of much analysis, but few have taken the effort to read his bulky manifesto. He distributed it electronically the day of the shooting. Dutch journalist and Arabist Eildert Mulder has read this nearly 1 million words and published a book about it. Anders Breivik is not the only one. Eildert, Anders Breivik is not the only one. That sounds alarming.
Oh, sure.
It is.
I think it is alarming. We had already a big problem with the Salafist movement, with Islamic extremism, and I think we have now another problem to face.
And what's the problem?
Well, you said something about the mental health of Anders Breivik. The topic was much discussed, but it doesn't seem to me that it is very relevant. Far more relevant is the content of his manifesto. And, well, if we say he is not alone, or he is not the only one, he is definitely not the only one to have the same ideas as he describes in his manifesto.
So can you tell something about how widely spread these ideas are? How many, because the manifesto is a companion, there are many people who contributed to it, not knowing it, but he cites many other people.
Yeah, he quotes a lot of other people, and these ideas abound in the internet. It is quite shocking. If you just read his manifesto, and you don't need to make a search by yourself on the internet. It is all in the manifesto. And if you start surfing on the internet, and I found it very shocking. It was an information of one of our readers of my newspaper. He wrote, well, read the site Gates of Vienna. There is a long piece on that site, a sort of essay called Surrender, Genocide, or What? Implying that there is no choice but between surrender, that means that we surrender to Islam, or genocide against the Muslims in Europe.
So we are the Europeans?
We are the Europeans, yes. So the other thinks there is no other choice. And he said, what else? He has some ideas about how this dilemma could be avoided, how genocide could be avoided. But at the same time, he says it is impossible, because he needs dictatorial powers to accomplish this. And of course he doesn't get them.
But this sounds...
And this is an essay that has been on that site for a period of 4 years. It has not been removed. It's not by incident. It is...
Okay, you say there's a whole ideology which is circulating on the internet. Could you tell us some other topics from the manifesto?
The first topic is Islam, 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 Islam.
That's the most important?
Yeah, that is the most important. Now, it seems a little bit contradictory, since Breivik committed his atrocity against mainly non-Muslims.
Yeah.
So, what is that about? Well, he hates also the European left.
Okay.
But why does he hate them? In his view, the European left facilitates the importation and the immigration of huge amounts of Muslims. So they are very dangerous collaborators. If you want to combat Islam in Europe, you should first combat the traitors in your own society. And that's the philosophy behind the massacre of Utøya and Oslo.
Which was against the young members of the Socialist Party who were at that
yes,
island.
the future,
assembled there.
the coming, the elite
Coming
to come
generation. Yeah.
of the country.
Okay.
And he wants to intimidate. And in his view, it is 12:15. It is not anymore possible to bring about a fundamental change in European politics in a democratic way. Mm-hmm. So terror is the only way. And in this sense, he is quite similar to al-Qaeda.
Mm-hmm. There are many people who think it's not a good idea to give attention to these ideas of Breivik and others, but you think otherwise, I think. So what makes it so important to analyze this discussion and to maybe to even discuss with these people?
Now, you might say, okay, don't pay attention to him and keep silent, and then you could have the illusion that the phenomenon will disappear, but
yes.
it will not.
No?
Just exactly because you don't formulate his theory, you don't analyze it, it will continue to exist. Mm-hmm. So people can say the same things as Breivik does without you noticing it,
Okay.
since you don't know what Breivik said. So it absolutely don't make any sense to say we don't study his theories, we keep silent, that will solve the problem. It is, in fact, that is ridiculous. Well, imagine that we would have such a document of bin Laden, and bin Laden would have left for us a document of 3,000 printed pages, book pages, in which he explains everything that moves him, and all his motives, and his whole philosophy. Well, we, as the media, we would jump on that piece, and we would keep analyzing it and keep writing about it, and rightfully.
Why do you think this didn't happen after Breivik's attack? The media, they wrote about it, but it became silent very soon.
I am really very puzzled about this. The first reaction I can understand, it was also my reaction. You have to write, and you need immediately, you have to react as a journalist immediately. So you make a sort of scan, and you write a few ideas down. But there is where it all stopped. In our country, in Holland, a beginning, an incipient discussion about our politician Geert Wilders and his Freedom Party, and the connection between that party and the possible connection between the philosophy of that party and Breivik, also because Breivik only indirectly quoted Wilders a few times. Well, after a week or so, this debate petered out, and a real analysis was not made. And it was as if the discussion stopped. That was it. And I immediately, I told to my newspaper, I will do more with this. I will analyze the whole, read the full piece from A to Z, and I will make a series of articles out of it. And I'm very glad that the newspaper accepted this, and I think that's very important. And well, there were a lot of positive reactions from readers, so that made me decide to offer the book to you.
Yes. And then the book was published.
And then the book was eventually published.
So you hope the discussion will start again?
Yes,
Okay.
and well, I would not even say start again. I would say start.
Okay. We hope it will.